it's Level Up Vega, and unfortunately, I'm going to bring you some bad news today, but there might be some good with it. Let's see. So, this article comes from Forbes, and it's called The Last of Us Part 3 Leaks Reveal New Details, but no sign of Part Two's most controversial character. Well, who would have known? So, big details like the release date, screenshots, game footage, and so forth remain under wraps. It says here, these are fairly tame leaks, and I hope we don't find ourselves in a situation similar to the ramp up to The Last of Us Part 2, with huge chunks of the game, including basically its entire story, leaked prior to release, causing Sony to crack down with brute force on anyone even discussing the game online and massive uproar. I think it should. Anybody working in that field, probably Naughty Dog. If you're dead center in making The Last of Us Part 3 right now, please do everything you can to leak that. Because the reason why it was leaked in the first place with The Last of Us Part 2 was because they changed the story, was because they added Abby in, was because they just disrespected the source material. Because of all those changes in the story, then from the inside of Naughty Dog, they decided, well, let's leak it and let's show everybody exactly what the true colors are in Naughty Dog, what they're actually trying to do to our characters that we love so much. So I definitely think you should leak it. If you're working on the game at all in Naughty Dog and you think it's going down that path, at the same path of them disrespecting the source material, definitely leak it. Let us all know what is actually going on so we can be prepared and not waste our money. So the leaks are saying that there's going to be 5 new characters that the game's going to revolve around. That's going to be Lucas, Mason, Val, and Ezra, and Gracie. So they give them very little details. They're just running a house, an old Victorian house. The female leader is, of course, female leader. Here we go. You can already tell. Is Val, okay? So that's the female leader. And then Ezra, of course, a guy who wants to take over the leadership position from the woman, right? So evil man going against a nice heroine woman, and we've seen this time and time again. So this is already giving me red flags from the beginning, just based off the last game alone. But now, just with the minor details that they're leaking about The Last of Us Part 3, you can already tell. And it already, I don't care what anybody says about, oh, it's just a minor detail. It's just a female and a male. Dude, I don't care. After The Last of Us Part 2 came out, there is no bringing any fans back like myself that was a fan of the first game. There's no bringing us back. There's nothing you can do to fix it except for saying, okay, we were sorry about Last of Us Part 2. We regret making the game. We lost all this money. Just come out with all the truths and just apologize for it and take the game down and just throw it in the trash. Don't sell it. Don't sell it anymore. Don't put it on Steam. Just destroy the game. And anybody who has copies, good for you. If you enjoy the game, that's also good for you. That's great. But the reason why we don't like the game and we don't like The Last of Us Part 2, mind you, and we like the first game is because the first game started something new. Once you start something new and you add on to that existing property, you have to respect the source material no matter what you do. Just like the second to last video I made about Assassin's Creed Black Flag with their remake, they're gonna butcher that. They're gonna disrespect the Edward Kenway, the Kenway family. They're probably gonna add in a bunch of stuff that we don't need, a bunch of politics, and they're just gonna ruin the game. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I'm a big Last of Us fan. Not the new Assassin's Creeds, not the new Last of Us. There's a reason why there's a drop off when it comes to all these franchises, and they, like 50%, 40%, 60%, over half the fan base is going away. Look at Star Wars. Look what Kathleen Kennedy did. This happens everywhere in every entertainment industry, especially when it comes to video games. And I, along with many other people, am not going to be here for it. So yes, do I look at this small detail of a guy wants to take a leadership position from a girl in the next Last of Us game as a red flag? Yes, I definitely do. The scavengers live on the outskirts of a post-apocalyptic city, though which city remains to be seen. Meanwhile, Leaker, don't know how to say that name, says that Ellie is at least as important in Last of Us Part 3 as she was in Part 2. I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, I'm going to have a problem with the game in general, but there's always a chance to come back, and there's always a chance to rewrite your wrongs. Like Rise of Skywalker, for example. J.J. Abrams redid everything correctly that they did uh, wrong in the previous movie, for The Force Awakens. Same thing can come with this game. Neil Cuckman and everybody down there who did take control and just rewrote the story and disrespected the source material, they can backpedal and they can actually change their ways and, like I said, apologize, take the game down, just say that that wasn't canon. They can do so many things to fix it and then write an actually good story. If this is revolving around Ellie and it's a sequel to Part 2, obviously not going to be down for it. But the best that you can do at that point is just make a good game at least. And the fact that Ellie's a part of it makes it feel like it's a good game. Just based off that little detail alone, again, we don't have much to go off of here. This part I like. Notably absent from any of these early leaks is Abby. By far the most divisive and controversial character in just about any video game ever made, but certainly in The Last of Us Part 2. I 100% agree with that. Abby had no point in the story. It is such a mess, and to in order to like change the story and disrespect the source material, you got to come up with excuses, right? Spoiler alert: in The Last of Us Part 1, the only Last of Us game, they at the end of the game, Joel comes in and he saves Ellie. How does he save Ellie? Kills the doctor, which is actually optional. I think you don't actually have to kill the doctor. I've played the game like 20 times, if not more, and you don't really have to kill the doctor, I think. Perhaps you do. I think you do, actually. But either way, it was an NPC. He was just there to support the writing of the story and for Joel to come and take Ellie out of the room and save her life. So, and continue the arc between the character development between Joel and Ellie itself, continuing the story and perfecting it. So of course these new writers for part 2 is just gonna be like, oh, you know what? Let's bring this NPC. Yeah, that was the father of this new girl that we want to make. Oh, what is she? Oh, she's a survivor, very fit woman. And that's what they use as excuses to just change the story, make it all about Abby and all this stuff, and just butcher it like never before. So the fact that she's not in these leaks, she might be in the game, who knows? But the fact that she's not even a part of the leaks, and Ellie is, and these 5 new scavengers are, pristine. Pristine. If the first game was about love and the second game was about hate, what will the third game be about? Money. In general, the entertainment industry involves video games, movies, TV shows, cable even. There's a ton of different fields, and those are just the major ones. When it comes down to like ruining Star Wars, ruining Indiana Jones, with Kathleen Kennedy is part of both of, actually, by the way, because she's the head of Lucasfilm now. Come back, George Lucas, please. Basically, they come back and they take over these franchises and they ruin them for their own political gain or money, monetary value, power. But when it boils down to it, why do people do anything in general? For money. So Kathleen Kennedy's making bank off ruining Indiana Jones, ruining Star Wars. Neil Cuckman is actually making bank off of Part 1, unfortunately, but Part 2 and Part 3, hopefully not. But that's what it's looking like so far. He wasn't mentioned in this, but of course we do know he is still part of Naughty Dog as the director. So let's just hope for the best. Let's hope somebody comes and takes over and just respects the source material. Maybe somebody working in Naughty Dog. If you work in Naughty Dog, try to come up the ladder. If they don't let you, I mean, you might have to do like a writer strike. That's what's going on now. You might have to just bounce because you can't watch your source material and your game, the passion that you love, the job that you have, just be destroyed over politics and over money. So you got to do what you got to do. If you want to continue working there, you definitely can. But in my case, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't stand for it. And a lot of people don't. That's why the writer strike's going on right now. So you can see that in Hollywood in general. But when it comes to this game in specific, The Last of Us Part 3, I have absolutely no faith for. This is a very small leak, like they said. It's a very small leak. There's not much details to go off of here. But from what I can see happening it's not gonna look good, and it's already not looking good. Definitely see like at least one major red flag here, and people can say you're picking off nothing. You're just looking at like the minor detail. That's all we got from this leak. First of all, second of all, with The Last of Us Part Two putting that sour taste in our mouths as fans, true fans of the actual Last of Us game, the only game, The Last of Us Part One, there's no coming back. So after The Last of Us Part 2, any leak that we see that's going to be even a minor red flag, we count as a big red flag because we know from the leaks that we've seen before, which was The Last of Us Part 2, we know the leaks that we're going to see now is what's going to be Part 3. So, true fans like myself, we're not down for it. We're not going to be here, but I would definitely keep you updated on whatever leaks come out. There you go.